Are you trying to progress in an area or build more confidence in an area? Yeah, you're getting not as far as you like, or you're getting a little bit stressed or a little bit overwhelmed. Well, today I'm going to talk about this and why going alone is one of the most ridiculous and stupid things you can ever do, to be totally transparent. Right. So, and if you stay until the end, I've got an extra point for you then as well. Right. So I'm very, 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 very passionate about this, as you might know, because I see lots of people struggle and I've struggled because I've struggled myself. And it's just something I have to call out because I'm here as a guide, as a coach. See me as your coach on this podcast. And again, it's about guiding you to the answers. I'll be passionate about things, but ultimately you make your own decision. I try to figure out how to get a job on my own. Guess what? Didn't do very well. I tried to figure out how to do a business on my own. Guess what? Didn't do very well. I've tried to get better, admittedly, with women on my own, and guess what? Didn't do very well. I try to get better with health, improving my health on my own. Guess what? Didn't do very well. That's because I was being stupid. Trying to figure out something on my own is one of the most ridiculous. There are other human beings on the planet that can help, that could have helped me. Right? Now, look at this. The best performers in any area in life all have coaches or mentors. Now, what's the difference between them? A coach is a guide, a mentor is someone who's got direct experience to tell us what to do. And sometimes those roles are combined. A lot of the times those roles are combined. Why would you try and go alone in an area when the best performers in like sports, like actors, and just general like high performers, they've all got coaches and or mentors? Why would you try and go alone? And he's put my hands up. I was trying to do this as well. Right. So I really want to talk you through this today and just give you some thought. Because what stops us reaching out for help? Well, sometimes it's our ego. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's an investment, right? But what's really costing you is trying to do it alone and being miserable, being stuck and doing the same insane things again and again, just from what I've learned. And ask yourself if that's true or not. Okay, so what I want to guide you to think through here is, first of all, what do I want? Like, what do you want, right? Be really clear on what you want, because if you don't know what you want, how do you know where you're going, right? It's a really simple question. I always go on about this one, yet people don't answer it. They don't think about it. What is your outcome is another question, alternative question. What is your outcome? Like, I work sales as well, and there are a load of people signed up for our program the other day, and it's life-changing, and I'm so passionate about it. It's Joseph McClendon's one, and if you want to find out more, please reach out to me on social media, on Instagram or whatever. I wasn't even intending to mention it, but anyway, like, people come into it for different reasons, and people are like, why should I join? And I'm not there to convince them to do anything. I just like, well, what's your outcome? What are you trying to achieve? They're like, I'm trying to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, what alternative ways have you got? And they're like, well, actually, I'm a bit stuck. And I'm like, okay, I mean, this could support in this, this, and this. And then they were like, oh, great. And then they were on board. So again, it's like not me telling anyone what to join. People will not do things when you tell them as much as when they ask themselves those tough questions and answer it. So that's why I ask you the questions. Okay. So what is it you want? And then ask yourself, who can help me? Who can help me in that area? Who seriously can help me, right? So start asking yourself that question more regularly. And then ask yourself this question: when have I really got good results in my life? Maybe it was even at school. What happened? You probably had a good teacher. I did really well in project management for a couple of years. Why was that? Because I had my manager, who I'm really good friends with to this day. He was my manager at the time, really good mates with to this day. And he was a brilliant project manager. He really taught me a lot. And guess what? I wasn't doing it alone. So chances are, when you succeed in something, you had a good teacher. When I was learning to drive, for example, and maybe you can relate to this, I had a terrible first instructor. And if he's listening, you're a terrible first instructor. I'm not even going to hold His name was Jeff, right? He was awful, right? And why was he awful? Because he used to criticize everything I said. Like, that's not how you encourage a 17-year-old who's very nervous in front of the steering wheel. Like, I'm just going to call it out, right? It was like, don't stall there. No, I don't intend to stall there. I'm learning to drive a car, right? I'm all for challenging someone, but that's not. Yeah, anyway, we won't go on that. And then I left him. I was like, I can't deal with this guy. And then I got another one. And guess what? I passed first time, like 4 minors. Great. Did really well. And that guy really helped me to learn. Was I trying to learn how to drive a car on my own? No, of course I wasn't. So ask yourself that, like, when you got results in your life, did you do it? Like, give yourself the credit for what you did, of course. And you always need to praise. I always encourage you to praise yourself. Absolutely, 100%. The chances are you are not doing it alone. So why would you try and figure out something on your own going forward? It's because we're scared to ask for help, in my experience, or because there's like an investment to it and we get fearful of the money. Be more fearful of what's going to happen if you do things again and again and make it work for you. All right. My bonus point for you. Start learning and in your spare time, if it's an audiobook or podcast on the go, maybe reading if you've got a bit of time and sit down and read for maybe 5-10 minutes. I like to learn on the go because while I'm exercising or whatever, everyone's got different preferences. It's up to you. Learn about successful people, because if you're learning about successful people, you're more likely to pick up their patterns and start acting in the way they act. Okay. So that's my final point for you. Start learning and modeling from successful people more often, because that's going to encourage you, and you're actually going to start learning that they learn from successful people as well. Okay. Tony Robbins, one of the #1 success coaches on the planet. He learned from Jim Rohn, who learned from, I've forgotten who Jim Rohn learned from. But anyway, there's a whole kind of like mental coach path. So why would you try and learn and do something alone when the most successful people on the planet are always learning and getting coached and mentors? I have several coaches in my life, and it makes a massive difference to different areas. Okay. And even if you're just learning on the go, like I said, that can really, really help you as well. I personally, this is just me sharing. I learn from people on the go. Like, I'll listen to my Tony Robbins stuff, but I also have like specialist mentors or coaches I can interact with on a one-to-one basis. I hired one today. Okay. So I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you are in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.